Deported migrant Kilmar Abrego Garcia was returned to the U.S. on Friday by federal court order. He was immediately in court in Tennessee, where he was indicted for smuggling illegals into the country, including children. Here to discuss this and more, Tennessee Congressman Tim Burchett. Tim, welcome back to the program. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, brother. I really appreciate it.
Well, before we get into Tennessee news and the indictment there, let's talk about the Los Angeles riots. Your thoughts on that?
Well, it's just disgusting. You have, I saw where ABC News was talking about how that they, there's people there enjoying a car burning and that the police were just escalating the problem. I tweeted out, I know when the Burchetts want to have fun, we go to a good car burning. It's just unbelievable. It just shows you that, how far this country is slipping off into the abyss, and how the traditional media, as it will, is losing its grip on reality. And lawlessness cannot be tolerated in this country. And we have got to put this down as fast as possible. And now they're calling for these things all over the country. I think it'll be a different time, I think.
This is of concern to all of us, because when you see these left-wing cities and states, California's like Los Angeles burns every other year. They've always got something they're rioting about out there.
Yep.
And who pays the tab? All of that, it is shifted, the cost is shifted, and the rest of Americans pay for for the Marxist ideology that drives many of these cities, that fuels lawlessness.
Sure, they don't care anything about our way of life, Tony. I know I've read reports that the mayor of Los Angeles, she's actually gone to training in Cuba, of all places. And this is a communist type tactic, and they attack our values, they attack everything we stand for, and then they riot and loot and do those kind of things. And I would say, if you're a member of the law enforcement community in California, you would be feeling very low right now. I would say the morale is not very good, and I hope they do send in the National Guard, and if necessary, the Marines. I'm sick of this kind of thing, as you are. I think when you stand by and let it go, that just enhances that much more and encourages it.
Yeah, I think the mayor ought to go back to Cuba, learn how to roll cigars, and get a more productive profession for herself. Let's talk Tennessee. Garcia, forced to return. The courts made sure that he was returned. He originally from Maryland, living in Maryland, came back, faced charges in Tennessee. This guy is not a good guy.
No, human trafficking, all the other horrific things. The left and the Democrat Party wanted justice for him. Well, he's getting ready to get some justice. And I'm glad to see we're just not deporting people. I think it's important that in the past, we deport people and they just come right back. I'd say you give them some hard time, and that sends a clear message that we're not going to tolerate this kind of thing. President Trump and his Justice Department are not going to tolerate this. The human trafficking aspect really disturbs me. I can remember I passed a law dealing with human trafficking when I was in the state legislature, state senate years ago, and just how foreign it was, because I followed a van, on a rickety old van, and it turned loose a bunch of people in an area of Nashville. And today, it's with that open border under the Biden administration, there's the millions and millions of people that came across. And to think, too, that there's small children involved in this trafficking with the prostitution and everything else. And it's just it's unbelievable, really, Tony, that we've allowed this to get to this point. But something else I think people need to realize is that this guy was caught by the Tennessee State Troopers, and the Biden Justice Department and the FBI told them to turn him loose. You got to imagine the morale. These are I know a lot of state troopers, and they are very patriotic men and women. Many of them served in our military, and they are straight arrows, and they are first rate. And I can't imagine what that did to their morale and their psyche when they have this guy. He's got a van full of illegals. and then they're told by the FBI to turn him loose. The whole thing just stinks from top to bottom. It almost reeks of a federal collusion with some of these people and just allowing them to get by with this, or that wasn't their priority when in fact it should have been.
Well, I think it's the left has this view that it's compassionate not to enforce the law, when in fact it is the most compassionate thing to enforce the law because it protects the innocent, as you just pointed out about the trafficking, which Garcia was involved in. If we enforce the law, we protect innocent people.
Yeah, and they said that he's possibly hauled in hundreds of people. And that, to me, is that's beyond forgiveness right there. He needs to do some really serious hard time. And the message needs to go out that we're just not going to tolerate this stuff anymore. To think that our federal government basically just endorsed that kind of behavior by turning him loose, to me, is something that is unforgivable.
Congressman, we got about a minute left. What can we expect this week from Capitol Hill?
Well, some more Doge type things, I hope. I'm going to be dropping, I think I've got a few more that I've prepared. My staff has done very well at keeping up with that, and we're going to be dropping them. I'm not going to wait around for word on high to turn loose these things. This country wants to see some cost savings, and I'm ready to do it.
All right, and we're ready to cheer you on. So, Congressman, always great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Tony.